Who are you, Professor Gambaccini? Sweet dreams are made of this. Shakin Stevens, the #1 recording artist in the UK in the 80s. He's doing a Greatest Hits and More tour, coming to the Derngate in the spring. Shaky's on. We'll do a bonus bouquet call too, yeah?
On FM.
Online.
DAB Digital Radio.
And Freeview Channel 734.
This is BBC Radio Northampton.
The thing about this man never has stopped being popular. On the Rock and Roll Show on Saturdays, he's asked for every week, not just the hits, but album tracks, the early days with the Sunsets, his early solo stuff before the hits came, requested every week. In April, there was Record Store Day to celebrate independent record stores, and his last album was brought out on red vinyl as a special limited edition, sold out by midday. All gone in 3.5 hours all over the country. Next spring, he'll be at the Derngate on tour March 2nd. The mighty Shakin Stevens. Hello, Shaky.
Hi, Bernie. Nice talking to you.
I have always loved your success from afar these nearly 4 decades, because I know that you had a long apprenticeship playing clubs. You had no money after the Sunsets. You were a 17-year overnight success, weren't you?
Absolutely right, yeah. It took a long time. It was a long road, long and winding road, yeah.
And what was it within you that kept you going, that self-belief? Because was it self-belief? Did you always know it would happen?
Well, I just wanted to sing, basically, and I just kept going, you know. I left school. I used to sing in school, in fact, you know. A word got around that I could sing. So when I left school, that's all I wanted to do was sing. So we get a couple of guys together playing guitars and say, I'll be the drummer, and I'll be the singer, blah, blah, blah. Or you'll be the singer. And we carried on like that. And then as time went by, we started doing, I don't know, the usual thing, I suppose, weddings, and then we went up to Aberystwyth. As time went on, this time we were old enough to drive, and the first gig was in Aberystwyth in King's Hall, and that was the start of us going into colleges and universities, and we did that for many, many, many years, and also other venues as well, and we made records, and as you say, nothing really happened, but they were fun times. But it was time to, I did that, and I was I wanted to be successful, and finally it happened for me, basically.
My friend Johnny Red says that you were criticised for selling out, and Johnny always says to me, anyone would do it. If you've got the chance to be, as you became, the most successful solo artist of the 80s, you're not going to say, no, I'll stay at home and do upholstery work, thank very much. You're not going to do that, are you? You're going to grab it when you're offered the golden ticket.
You've got to move on, basically. I mean, in the early days with the Matchbox, and I can't think of the other ones.
That's Crazy Cavern down there, and Rocky Sharp, weren't they? All those guys.
Yeah,
the Jets,
basically. But when you say, like, when they said that I've sold out, I couldn't quite see that, really. Of course, I wasn't doing covers, but I suppose it was different, the music for them, really, because it was really kind of really out and out rockabilly or rock and roll stuff. But you can be very, very naive, you know. It's like people, everything after the 60s, you know, it was a no-go, really, and I don't get that. I mean, Creedence Clearwater Revival, I mean, they're a great band, you know, and they say, well, no, it's not the 50s, you know.
You stood out there. You worked through, this all started through prog rock and the introspective singer-songwriter stuff, and then punk and disco and that kind of stuff. But there were lots of places to play, weren't there, around Southend? And the Hope and Anchor was a haunt you used to go to, wasn't it, in London?
The Hope and Anchor, yeah, that was a regular one. The Hope and Anchor, the Greyhound. The Hope and Anchor was hard work. We used to turn up in the van, and it had a chute where you used to get the gear down, where they used to put the beer barrels down the chute. So we used to get it down the chute and then set it all up. I think we had one roadie, but we all used to help. Some of us used to hide in the toilet if it go missing. But after you'd done the gig, the thing after, we'd have to get all this gear up the chute, you know, into the van, and then go to, I think it was a place called the Mad Pad, we used to call it. You know, you were all right if you left your if you left your shoes on, you'd be all right, but you didn't walk around in barefoot feet. That'll give you an idea what kind of plush places we used to stay in.
Did it squelch a bit? Was it a bit sticky underfoot, was it?
And we used to have a game in the morning, chase the egg round the plate, you know.
See, it seems romantic to me, going up and down the country in a van, and it seems romantic because I didn't do it. The reality is it's hard, isn't it? It's hard graft.
It is hard, yeah. And but that was before that, we used to kind of sleep in the van, and it wasn't very pretty sight or a sweet smell in the morning, waking up to 5 other people in the van, you know.
But it's rock and roll, Shakin.
Yeah, it's rock and roll. Yeah. You see, on to the next gig, really, basically. It's part of it's your apprenticeship, isn't it? And I'm glad I did that, and I don't regret it at all.
And you hooked up with Stuart Coleman, who passed away in the spring. He gave you a sound, and you just sparked off each other, didn't you, somehow?
Well, Stuart started the rock and roll with Jeff Barker, which was very, very good. And then he had this. They both of them had this this radio show, and it helped the bands within the circuit to actually perform on there, you know. So that's how I first met Stuart, and I made a couple of records with CBS, but I wasn't really happy with the production. I wasn't really happy with what I was doing song-wise. So knowing Stuart through the radio, BBC, It's Rock and Roll, we kind of got together and we sat down in his room, and we just went through record after record after record, and that's how it began, really.
And you found these quality songs. They weren't obvious covers. Marie Marie, that was the Blasters, wasn't it? I occasionally get asked for that original, occasionally, on the rock and roll programme.
It's a great song, isn't it, really? I found that in, would you believe, L.A. I was working over there, and I was doing quite a lot of interviews, and this guy, it was a long break before the next one, and he said, well, do you want to come to the house and hear some records? And I said, yeah, great, lovely. So he played records, and then he played actually the Blasters, Marie Marie, and I said, oh, can I have that? Can I have that on tape? I mean, it was cassettes then. And I took a cassette back with me, and I wanted to record it straight away and it was Eden Studios where we used to record with Stuart in Chiswick Road, and we put it down with Mickey G on guitar, fabulous solo, and the rest is history, basically, because that was my second number 2 hit, Hot Dog being the first one, Marie Marie, and that Marie Marie opened it up for me in Europe, in Germany. 9 months in the German chart at number 19. Can you believe that?
It's like Bryan Adams, my friend. You're doing your own Bryan Adams and Whitney Houston with that thing. That's mad. Nearly a year.
Yeah, so I had a hit, flop, and then This Old House came along, and that opened up internationally for me.
And it was hit all the way. And I think because of Stuart's radio work, he just knew, somehow you knew how to get that sound that would sound great out the radio. I played it the other week, and it still fizzes. I think it still fizzes out the speaker. Green Doors, the same. That's about a lesbian club. You know that, do you, Shaky? That's a lesbian club you're singing about.
That's right.
It is.
I didn't know at the time, though.
And Echoes of Our Time, it reconnected you 2 years back with your record buying audience. Terrific record. And I love that it sold out last year on Record Store Day, because it's now selling for over 100 quid on eBay. Because you struggled to find a label for that, didn't you?
We did, yeah. We were struggling with the album. Well, we actually went to see this press agent, and she, the company and herself, she's fabulous. And the company knows exactly what they're doing. And the idea was to get it out to the press. And she didn't say who it was singing or whatever like that. So they heard it and they said, wow, who's this? And she said, Shakin' Stevens. And they said, ooh, really? Oh, we love it. We still like it. We still like it. So that was the Echoes of Our Times was, I think, brought in a new audience for me, really.
So any more? Now you're connected with Americana and blues, you're going to do any more?
Well, we've got a few songs to the side there, and there's another track that I put a rough vocal down 2 weeks ago. So the ball's starting to roll, but right now we're so kind of wrapped up because next year I'm doing 8 dates in Germany, which I haven't been out there for quite a long time. And then we come back and do the UK tour, and then after the UK tour, there's lots and lots of other dates that I'm doing throughout Europe.
Good.
So.
It's the Greatest Hits and More tour. It will come to the Derngate on March 2nd. No more than a handful of tickets left, I know, because I checked. Which of those Greatest Hits are you most proud of, where you think, yeah, we nailed that? That's a proper good record we made.
Well, I think, Marie Marie...
It would be that one, would it? Yeah.
It's up there, really.
Because that was the game changer, wasn't it, really?
It was, yeah.
These times, you know this, mentioned Stuart, we're in deciduous times now. A lot of the great people are saying goodbye. We lost Tony Joe White last month.
I know, terrible.
He was a great friend and hero, and he was probably the fellow who gave you most joy in the studio, wasn't he? You loved working with him.
Well, I had this track which I co-wrote with Ronnie Harwood, and I met Peter Collins, and he wanted to do some tracks with me. So he said, would you like to work out in Nashville? And I said, yeah, I'd love it. So Sue and I went out there, and one of the tracks that we did was a song called How Could It Be Like That? And it did sound like it was a very, very swampy track. And I said, I'm hearing Tony Joe White on this track. And Peter Collins said, well, I've got a number for Tony Joe White, and he gave it to Sue, and Sue rang up Tony Joe White, and he said, yeah, I'd love to. I'll be there tomorrow. And he turned up in his pickup truck with his golf bags on the back.
That's what you want from Tony Joe White, isn't it? It is what you want from him.
Yeah, and he had his Stetson hat on. It was unbelievable. I mean, my jaw dropped.
He was the fellow, Tony Joe White. He wrote Rainy Night in Georgia. He did Poke Salad Annie. He did Steamy Windows, didn't he, for Tina Turner?
Indeed, yeah.
Wonderful.
He's greatly missed. Greatly missed.
And you hit 70 this year. You look sensational, Shaky. Your health back to good form now, is it?
Yeah, I don't feel that at all. Basically, we go to a gym every week, and with Sue. And
do you work out there, or do you just go to the cafeteria? Do you work?
No, we work out. Yeah, it's not. Not trying to get big muscles or anything like that. Just from a health thing, basically. You got to look at. As time goes on, you got really got to look after you. I don't smoke, I don't drink, and I swear now and again. But we have a nutritionist.
Oh, do you?
Okay. Yeah. So we're trying to keep healthy.
Very good. March 2nd it is at the Derngate. This number for tickets, 01604 624 811 for Greatest Hits and More. And we're coming up to the time of year where you still get played on Radio 1, only once a year, but you're still there. And Merry Christmas, everybody. It is ubiquitous, isn't it? Have you been in shops and it's come on and you thought, yeah, I'll leave now?
Yeah, I can understand. It's those same records are on the air in the supermarkets and stuff like that. But it's only once a year,
Very good. We'll see you on March 2nd at the Derngate. Shaky, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It's been great talking to you, and I've enjoyed it. Thank you.
4 number ones, 15 top tenors, 33 top 40 hits. That number 5, Christmas 1984, with Hank Marvin. Shaky doing Teardrops. Tomorrow, acting royalty, Jim Broadbent. I like Jim. He's in London at the moment playing Hans Christian Andersen. Jim will be on.